program for the racers.
Yes, Ralph. Riders and mechanics are in.
What up, YouTube? If you can tell by the title of today's video, we're going to be talking about what's going on right now in Supercross. We got a weekend off today, so what are we doing? Yeah, I feel lost right now, man. We don't have any Supercross going on. They're going to be in Daytona next week. It's going to be kind of crazy to see what happens next week in Daytona and where the championship's going to go from there. But all right, let's start out with the 250 West riders, man. What's up with J Mart and Alex Martin, man? So unlucky. J Mart was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. I think he kind of knows he made a mistake going into that first rhythm section, because then again, when you look back the video, when you play it back, I'm not going to play it back in this, but when you do play back the video, you do see that Styles Robertson is a rookie. I mean, you can't take anything like that away from the situation that went down. But being that I'm saying that is because I don't think Styles Robertson was aware of the 2 or 3 riders that were actually in front of him that stopped and rolled the section because of what was going on in front of them. And I don't think he was aware of that, and he just jumped and right into Jeremy Martin. You know what I mean? And it's just situational racing, man. Like, it happens. It's racing. But when he posted on Instagram this week of him saying, like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know when I'll be back. So, most likely, we may or may not see him next weekend. Nobody knows. It's up in the air. Possibility, we have no idea. But it's crazy, man. I really wanted to see Jeremy Martin get out there this year, man. I know he wanted a crazy good year so he can get that 450 ride next year. And the West Coast, a lot of the guys ran West Coast because of injuries. And now a lot of them are getting, now 2 of them are hurt. So we got J Martin, Alex Martin out. Alex Martin with a concussion. I didn't really see that crash on TV. I don't think they really showed it, but when Alex Martin went down in the corner, when I did watch the playback video of actually what happened, when he went down that corner, he hit his head pretty hard, or the whoop section, whatever it was, going into that corner. But yeah, he smacked his head pretty hard. So, but yeah, man, that's crazy what's going on in the West Coast Championship. I'm wondering who's gonna pull away with it. I mean, you got so many good riders that we could talk about when it comes to the West Coast. You know, anything can happen leading into what's going down. We're gonna skip time. We're gonna talk about 450 class in just a second. I want to bring up the results for the West Coast. All right, so we got Justin Cooper, Cameron McAdoo, Garrett Marchbanks. Those are the 3 riders we're going to talk about, but we're going to start out with Garrett Marchbanks. Actually, let's start out with Cameron McAdoo. Great ride, dude, for the kid, man. Kid came out, got a good start in the first start. Second start, got a pretty good start too, and he was right there with Jay Coop at the front. And this is right after the red flag. So, Cameron McAdoo, man, he was looking good. He was looking really good. He was riding, I think, efficient. He kind of latched on to Jay Coop and for a little bit, and I think that was good for him. He was running up front. He latched on to Justin Cooper, and when Justin Cooper kind of got out and did his thing, and he got out there, it was over, you know. But he rode his race. He was doing good. Garrett Marchbanks. Oh shit, I got to shift. Garrett Marchbanks. He man, that kid. I'm stoked for that kid. If you want me to be completely honest with you, that kid, man. We're getting into him real quick is because he didn't have a ride last year, right? And I mean, he had a ride last year, and Mitch Payton dropped him, and was like, "Look, we're gonna go separate ways. We got Seth Haymaker coming up. We got we got Faulkner, which Faulkner hasn't been producing results at all. Garrett Marchbanks, obviously Faulkner's hurt like every other year. Garrett Marchbanks had a podium, I think, last year, 1 or 2 podiums, and Mitch Payton wasn't satisfied. So I kind of understand where he was going, Mitch Payton. But it's cool because Garrett Marchbanks used that kind of as motivation. Like, you know what? You guys kicked me off your team. All right, that's fine. Went and got on with shit. I forget you have to shit. Went and got on with the Club MX team, which is awesome, and podiumed his first ride. Like, come on now. Are you kidding me? Like, so I think after this season, Garrett Marchbanks will end up with another factory ride for next year for the 250 class. I think he has and is going to prove himself good this year. So it's one of them things, man. It's kind of when you're young, you have it all, you're on top of the world, and then it gets taken from you. I think he was humbled by that, and I think it was a cool thing for him to get that podium. Because in the first race before the red flag, he got a horrible start. I think he was back in like 8th or 9th, and I think that's probably where he would have finished back in like tops. Maybe he would have got a top 5. Probably would have climbed his way back, but I don't know. It's just one of the things you just don't know. But yeah, and then we'll talk about Justin Cooper, runner-up last year. You know, I mean, kid loses to what? Back-to-back champion? I mean, come on. What are you going to do? So, Justin Cooper looked good, got the win he needed, and I think, man, just like everybody's been saying with the Star Yamaha boys, I think it's just Yamaha season for 250 class Star Yamaha. Just like it's been in the past. I just don't think. I think if Justin Cooper stays what he's doing, I think that this whole season is over and it's his. And I'd like to actually see, now that J Mart's out, Justin Cooper take it. J Mart was my pick at the start of the season, so. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I mean, there's still a lot of racing left. A lot of 250 guys that could potentially, have a chance at this championship. I mean, McAdoo, you can't count him out. What if Justin Cooper gets a horrible start? You know, what if Garrett Marchbanks continues to get great starts and stays at the front? Like, most of the top guys are out now with injuries. Like, well, not most, but like 250 East, right? They took a hit in injuries this year. And the crazy part is like, what are you gonna do? You know, a lot of the guys switched to West Coast already because of injuries. You know, we're kind of getting into that phase of what we're gonna do here. But I like the way season's going. We're gonna talk about real quick Hunter Lawrence, man. He had a good ride. Supercross has not been good to him the past couple of years, and with injuries and everything. But he actually showed some promise and stuff. He had a really good ride. I liked what I saw out of him. I think the potential is there. I think he's going to get a couple podiums this year if he stays healthy. Doesn't make any mistakes like he did previous years. Yeah. And it's kind of cool. You got the brothers, the Lawrence brothers on Honda, and they're splitting up the coasts. It's kind of cool to see. But, yeah, I really think that, a couple of the guys, Seth Haymaker is going to make it kind of challenging this year, I feel like, as well, for the championship points. Sucks Jordan Smith went out. That man has been battling with injuries. That's another guy I wanted to talk about, too, is Jordan Smith. Like, man, a couple years ago, he was fighting for that championship, right? And I think he was young, and I think at that point, when he had the red plate going into the final round, and he was 8 points up at one point because somebody crashed out. Next thing you know, Jordan Smith crashes out. Next thing you know, it was crazy how when that East-West showdown was taking place, how all those scenarios went down. But Jordan Smith, like I said, he's been in that position before, right? He's been in the championship hunt. He's been in the positions. But the guy just can't catch a break with injuries, man. Like, is he going to be the next Christian Craig? You feel me? Like, or Martin Davalos in the class till he's, 29 because of injuries? Or is he going to fall off like a couple of riders that we know? Like, man. Albright. Aldridge, whatever. Back when he rode for Cowie, man. Dude's got a 9-to-5 job now. Like, you got riders, man, that have been around and had the potential and stuff and just lost that fire. And I'm kind of hoping that doesn't happen to Jordan Smith, man. I hope his career can get saved by Cowie and the opportunity he's getting given. And, You know, it'd be cool to see. But yeah, now we're going to jump in once this main event starts. I think it's going to be like 10-minute main. But we're going to jump into the 450 class, talk about what's going on in the season. And what to expect when they come to Daytona next weekend. We'll take that second gate pick. So, all right, let's get started. The reason why I picked Tomac is I wanted to start out with Tomac. I want to start out talking about Tomac right now. What is going on? What is going on with Tomac? This is one of them things that, like, you know, we've seen in years past where the past 5 years, Tomac's mentality towards the end of seasons have not been the best for him, which has caused him to slip and lose championships. When he was doing racing Dungey, some of those times it was not just his problem, but it was bike problems. I mean, you really can't ask for much more out of Tomac. I mean, it's just one of them things where he's just getting unlucky, and he has to pull it together. But this year it was like, and he finally did last year, right? He pulled it together, got the championship. But this year it was like, man, all right, Tomac, you were fired up last year. You did it. You finally got your championship. We know you got your 3 outdoor titles. Let's run it back. Let's get some more, you know? And boom, all of a sudden, it's like Tomac is just out of it. Like just what's going on? You know, result-wise, it's not too bad, but 26 points back or whatever it is now, 23, 26 in the championship. That's not good coming into Daytona. So I feel like this weekend it's going to be ride or die for Tomac, win or bust kind of deal with championship. I think it's going to be win or bust this weekend for Tomac. Also notables that we're going to talk about right here is Cooper Webb, who I'm battling with right now at the front, and Zach Osborne as well. Cooper Webb, man, I think. Okay, Caney didn't let him get the pressure to him the week prior, and Coop took that second place. Not in Orlando, but I'm talking about right before Orlando. Coop took the second place, right? Well, then you have as well the weekend after, Coop wins Orlando. Then after that, he backs it up this past weekend and wins Orlando again. Okay, so Orlando sweep is what we've been calling it, right? Well, I think that this is what I think, and this is my predictions as well for the rest of the season. I think if Coop wins this weekend, I think championship is his. I'm gonna go ahead and call it. If Coop wins Daytona this weekend, championship's in the bag. Coop's gonna take championship again this year. Now, we're gonna lead into notables that could change the scenario up, right? Like Zach Osborne. Zach could be one of them contenders this weekend. He's shown speed all year. Zach's been right there. It's just Zach's just had bad luck. You know, to be completely honest. Also, as well, man, we have Ken Roxon we got to talk about. He's going to be a big guy fighting up there with Coop. If Roxon does not get the start and you got Tomac in front of him, Coop in front of him, or if Coop gets the lead, I think it's over. But I think Roxon needs to get the start, and he doesn't need to race behind him. Obviously, he hasn't been all year. But you just never know when you're coming in Daytona what's going to go down. But I also think that Roxon has the ability to be like, you know what? Let me use last weekend as a motivator type deal, and let's come out swinging. We've had a week off. We feel good type deal. That's kind of what I feel for Roxon. I think he's just going to come out swinging. He's going to be feeling good, have a week off, going to fly in probably on his private jet. You know, do what they got to do. But it's cool. It's also cool to see that also they posted this week the purses that these riders have been getting, what each rider's made so far. I think Roxon's at like 63 or 66,000, somewhere around there, 60,000s. Cooper's made 55,000 so far with just purse money that they made. That doesn't include their title sponsors. So these riders are getting paid. It's one of the things that not a lot of us really see and talk about. Tomac so far, if you think about this, so the point swing, right? And think about placements and stuff. Tomax only made like $36,000 this year versus Coop's $55,000 and Roxon's $60,000, right? Well, if you think about it, that's crazy difference because these riders are getting paid by their sponsor deals, their manufacturers. You know, there's a lot of things that go into what make this happen, right? And it's cool that they finally decided to post something that says what these riders have been making purse money wise, things like that. So, and what the sport, you know, is missing, like a lot of these riders too, privateers, they come in, they do, you know, they do their thing. They spend their own money majority of the time or during outdoor season because a lot of them want to race Supercross. They work, or in between races, they work during the week. They, you know what I mean, whatever the case may be, to get money, to get bikes, to get everything that they need. And they do it just so they can come and race every weekend. And I know I could never race on that level. Shoot. Yet alone can I get out of a minute lap times. I would never be able to race Supercross. Probably ever. It's just so, like, from the people that I know that race it, people that I know that have actually been a privateer in the sport and raced it, it's difficult. Like, imagine hitting these whoops at, what, 55 miles an hour, dude? Like, what? Something goes wrong? I mean, that's why these guys are professionals. That's why they do what they do. It's crazy that I grew up in the same town as Cooper Webb. Like, around here, he's, like, the guy. It's kind of cool that, like, it's cool from my perspective from, like, a small town where this dude made it out and he's a professional athlete. I mean, we got a lot of NFL players, a couple NFL players that came out of here as well. I'm not gonna say, but it's cool, man. Coop's the guy, and Supercross isn't as big as what it used to be too. I've noticed, man. If you notice too, like in this game, right? Look at all the stands; it's packed full, right? This is how this was when Ricky Carmichael was racing, Bubba Stewart, you know, Chad Reed, all them boys back in the day. Ryan Villapello, when Ryan Dungey was coming up in the game, same with Villapello. Like all of these boys, this is what it was like. And now we can barely feel the stands. It's turned into a small sport, a really expensive sport, and man, it'd just be cool to see if they ever brought it back on like ESPN or something. I know that would never happen, but Supercross, man, it was cool to see how big it used to be, and now it's just kind of dying down. But we still got a lot of great fans out there. I know these riders really have been appreciative, especially with this pandemic that's been going on, everything else that's been happening with the fans, man. A lot of these riders like Jet on the East Coast have been really appreciative of fans. Same with Coop, same with Roxon. You know, a lot of these guys are starting to realize, like, this is what it's about. This sport, the fans make this sport. When you hear them cheering, when you hear battles going down, like, it's sick, dude. And these guys love it. They come out here, they race under the lights on a track that is very difficult. You know, a lot of sections get riders during the course of the race. So it's cool, man. I don't know what it's like to be a professional athlete. I never will. But it's cool, man, when you have guys that work their whole life for this moment and to try to win like a championship, and then once they do, it's like their whole life is set for them right there, right? It's crazy to see that kind of stuff. It's cool, man. A lot of guys did their thing in the 250 class, and they pump up here, and it's like, man, like Cooper Webb, man, like we were like, man, this kid's gonna be good. Everybody said it. Right out of 250, he's got a Yamaha ride, he's got the factory ride, boom. Injuries. Wasn't flowing with the bike. Wasn't feeling all that great. Then all of a sudden, switches trainer, switches team, gets that championship. Now all of a sudden this year, Tomax out of the question, I believe. I mean, not yet, but just about. All of a sudden, Coop's inching up 13 points. You know what I mean? Like, this kid, or 8 points, whatever the points gap is now, it might be 8, because it was 13 or some shit. But anyway, this kid is coming, and everybody needs to watch out, because the end of the day, what's going to end up happening is if Coop gets hot and he gets on another run like he has in the past, I think it's going to be scary for these guys. I mean, don't get me wrong with that Cooper Webb, Ken Roczen fire, but yeah, it would be cool to see Roczen finally get that Supercross championship. He's already got an outdoor title. But get that elusive Supercross championship, and then he can finish his story. You know, I think that's what Roczen's chasing. He wants that final step to his story where he broke his arms, both of his arms, and he is now chasing the bag. So, yeah, guys. But, yeah, man, I hope next weekend it's going to be a battle. It's going to be fun to watch. It's also going to be fun to watch a lot of these guys from the West Coast come out here and race a track that they don't normally come out and race. Because a lot of the guys, what they did was they switched coasts. So, East went West, West went East type deal this year, because everything's on the East Coast. So, it's kind of cool to see that, and the fact that they're doing what they're doing. I didn't make it. I should have stayed in second. But, yeah, I'm hoping, man. See, Barsha, too, you got to think about this. Barsha Anderson's been looking good recently. But you got to think about this. Barsha, too, right? He could mix it up. He's been super fast all year. He's been showing results. Oh, no. Well, Coop won the game. Or won the race. He's been showing results all year. And I think he's been looking really, really good. He can mix it up at Daytona. He's also going to mix up the championship, because you also got Musquin. Musquin's starting to ride really, really well. You know, nobody's really talked about him much this year. I think Musquin's kind of in that zone where he's just coming off of injury, just trying to get back in the mix. He's looking good. Marvin's getting old. He's getting one of the older riders in his 30s, like JB and Chad Reed. Marv's been around the block for a minute, and you know, it's one of them things that I think if Marv doesn't win in the next year or two, it's not going to happen. I just think it might be too late for Marv. But, you know, at this point, we'll see what's going down. See what this podium looks like this weekend. We'll see what happens, you know? But, all right, YouTube, thanks for watching. I appreciate you guys, as always, for stopping by. See you guys in the next video. Peace.